Good morning. I want to talk a bit about the hang on. Got to figure these intros out. Um yeah, blackberries that I shot yesterday. I wanted to talk through a bit of kind of my thought process whenever I do any sort of nature shooting or like when I'm shooting florals or something like this, blackberries. So um yesterday, if you watched my little video I posted, I was talking about how I was practicing with some more shoot-through photography. And um, these these right here, this is what I was actually shooting at the time. Um, so I kind of used the stem and foliage to frame my subject in the center. My subject being this cluster of berries. If you look up here, this is where my metadata is. If you're curious at any point on any of these images, I kind of kept it the same. I kept my ISO at 250. I was using my 16 to 35, my wide angle lens, and I only changed my f-stop a couple of times. So I'm kind of playing with this more shallow depth of field to get this nice separation, which is kind of how I like to approach doing nature shooting. So here I was doing the shoot through. Same composition, or same subject, different composition. Switched to a portrait, and I was thinking maybe I should crop this, but I actually kind of like this space up here. It kind of makes your mind think a bit, and whenever you do shoot through like this, it creates this natural vignette, which you'll see in a lot of my pictures here. So this one over here, I just liked how this cluster here was kind of separated, and then you have this like repeating these lines, that I like the dappled sunlight coming in. The sun is right here. And this backlight was just highlighting all of these fine little hairs on the stem. I just thought that was beautiful. So over here, same concept with the backlight here, more out of focus on the stem, which gives it this like glow. And I just liked the everything that was going on here with the dead leaves, the red berries, the blackberries, and I don't know. I just thought this was such a cool image. Here, whenever I'm doing any sort of floral photography, or in this case, the blackberries, one thing I like to do is to kind of switch it up and shoot the subject coming down from the top of the frame. Also keeping a relatively shallow depth of field here, and it gives you this nice separation. These guys were in the foreground, so this stem was coming up at my lens, and with these, my focus was down here. Yeah, I just thought that made such a striking image, and if a lot of times I will position a flower right at the top, and or something like this, and get all of this negative space, and it just makes such a beautiful image. But I liked the way the light was coming in, and I just liked what was happening here. Here I did some shoot through with the stems coming across here, and then the sun was actually coming through a little space and highlighting this cluster of berries, and it just made such a beautiful image, just with this dead stem, the brown, and all of the colors of the foliage, and then the separation here from the background. To me, this just looks like a painting. I mean, this is such a beautiful lens. I shoot Canon. This is a 16 to 35 2.8L, I believe. Um, yeah. So here, I changed it to be really, yeah, obviously 2.8. That's as shallow as this lens goes. I really wanted to create this very shallow depth of field right here, to just to create more interest. Kind of playing with some lines, drawing you really drawing you into this image, right? Um, Here, I changed it back to 3.5. I just loved this. The separation here, all of this, the tones. You know, we're only working with a few tones in these pictures, and that just is so. Uh, that's what makes it look like a painting in my mind. The colors just work together. One thing that I like to do when I'm shooting flowers and, you know, anything naturey like this, I will underexpose my images, and I just think that is gives you more depth and dimension, and it's easier to bring back some of the highlights in. Yeah, so these are coming out at my lens. These are kind of going down and down here, and just, yeah, the just the nature of the blackberry stems, and it just gives you so much to work with. I think I was out there for an hour shooting these. This, I noticed the sun was coming through here and kind of highlighting the top of this greenery, and I just thought that looked so cool. And again, with the backlight here, highlighting the hairs and almost creating this like secondary bokeh, because we have it this like here, but also here. It's just like, I don't know, very magical. And I kept it at 3.5. Here, I wanted to make this cluster of leaves my focus, and I needed to shoot through here. I decided to use these leaves to really frame this guy, and I like how the thorns are highlighted here, and this like texture on the leaf here is really almost glistening. So yeah, same cluster of leaves, a little bit different, using these leaves here in the foreground to shoot through and to really highlight this. And like I said, it just gives it this like natural vignette, drawing your eye right to the subject. And if we zoom in, you can see this little like what's happening here. Little bit of magic. Still at a 3.5, 250, and I just play with my shutter speed. Here I got down kind of, this is very low. You can see the sun is coming in here. I was really in the leaves using all of these to shoot through. And I really liked how we had the shadows here. And yeah, all of the tones of the sun shining through the leaves and just giving you this beautiful, I don't know, you just feel like you're in this blackberry bush. You were not in there. with me. I was getting scratched and stuff, and eh. Um, but I do like the contrast of the stems, like the colors and all the directions going on here. And again, I just changed my position a bit. I like to um, mess around with uh, positioning my subject camera right. And like here, where most people would do the opposite, I think it's a good idea to break rules, composition rules, and it just makes your mind work a little bit differently. So yeah, I thought this was interesting. And here you can see I'm shooting through all of this greenery right here. And then this one, these leaves were right in front of my lens, and so kind of working with this stem here, bringing your eye up to, I believe my focus was on this berry. Yeah, so, oh man, where am I at? Yeah, so that is how I approached shooting these blackberries, just giving you some ideas for different ways to position yourself, kind of getting down in the the foliage of whatever it is you're shooting. It's it's not that hard to stand back and shoot anything, in this case blackberries, but to do it in a way that makes your audience feel like they're kind of being drawn into the image, or like they're there. I think the more elements you can um bring in, as far as like, some of the things I talked about with isolating your subject, shooting through, I mean, these like lines, playing with texture and lines and different light. And the more elements like that you can bring into your shooting, um, the more interesting your images will be. And um, that's what makes magical images, in my opinion. So yeah, if you can see, I have actually edited these already, but what I like to keep my editing very clean and simple, almost like I I like I don't want people to look at my photos and think, oh, were edited. I kind of, yeah, like to do ninja Photoshop. um, yeah, that's just kind of a bit of how I approach my editing, and I'll talk about that more in other videos. But for now, I just wanted to talk about some of the concepts that I kept in mind while I was shooting these yesterday, and some of the things that I do just generally when I'm shooting flowers and anything in nature, really. So playing with shooting through texture, lines, backlight, the direction of your sunlight, and yeah. Anyway, let me know if you have any questions or comments, and thanks for watching.